Look at this. We've never seen Barcelona play football from Qatar. Oh, that's very clever, that's very clever. Come on. Come on, in less than a year at the club, Hansi Flick has accomplished what Ronald Koeman, D.K. Setien, Ernesto Valverde, and Xi Hernandez were unable to do. As a result, Barcelona is once again a recognizable team with a distinct personality that sets them apart from everyone else. Position, possession, and pressure. The 3 Ps of Barcelona football are well known. During his tenure on the bench from 1988 until 1996, Johan Cruyff established this attitude. And one who has never really left the club. Barcelona didn't merely use this approach to win games. They selected it as a philosophy and a criterion for selecting the team's leader. Pep Guardiola, Luis Enrique, and KMAN, all players under Koeman, were among the coaches who internalized such mentality. Others, like Xavi, tried to apply it from the dugout after inheriting it as football players. Eat outs, and some others, like the late Tito Villanova, were influenced by Guardiola and internalized those values. That final group includes Hansi Flick. Yes, an outsider, but one who knows the Barca code, and the outcome is quite amazing. What we are currently witnessing feels different, is new, and appears familiar but has undergone a complete transformation. And this is just the start. With a strategy based on composed but firm leadership, complete faith in young players, tactical courage, and astute squad management, Hansi Flick has completely changed FC Barcelona. He restored a distinct competitive character, re-established the team's relationship with the supporters, and skillfully negotiated the club's complicated reality without pursuing attention. The outcome was historic. La Liga, the first domestic triple in Spanish football history, Supercopa and Copa del Rey during his debut season. Furthermore, Flick didn't do it in a typical manner. Barcelona utterly dominated the previous season, emerging as Europe's most formidable attacking team and unquestionably the most amazing to watch. No team in the top 5 leagues in Europe has won more games than Flick's Barca after their 3-0 victory away at Athletic Club. They won 44 games. There are 2 in the Super Cup, 5 in the Copa del Rey, 9 in the Champions League, and 28 in La Liga. And this Barcelona will be known as the Barcelona of goalfests if it is remembered for anything. A staggering 174 goals were celebrated by fans across all competitions. Paris Saint-Germain, 147, Bayern Munich, 138, Real Madrid, 137, and Liverpool, 123, were the next best. In club history, this Bar side finished with the 3rd highest scoring total. Something historic resulted from such aggressive supremacy. Barcelona won 4 matches out of 4 games, sweeping Real Madrid. Not only did they win, but they were humiliated 4-0 at the Bernabeu. 3-2 in the Copa del Rey final, 5-2 in the Spanish Super Cup final, and 4-3 at Madrid. In 4 games, 16 goals were scored against Madrid. They weren't the only victims either. Valladolid 7-0, Villarreal 5-1, Bayern Munich 4-1, Valencia 5-0, then again 7-1 in La Liga, Real Sociedad 4-0, and Benfica 5-4. It became commonplace to score 3 or more goals. In the 2024-2025 season, it occurred 23 times. Additionally, Flick introduced a merciless, never-give-up German mindset. 9 times, including once in the Supercopa final, Barcelona overcame losing positions. 6 times in La Liga and once in the Copa del Rey final. According to statistics, this offensive machine was well-oiled. 414 shots on goal, 66.5% possession, 88.4% pass accuracy, 50.3% dribbling success, 19 goals from pass sequences of 10 or more, and 608 strong third-quarter recoveries. The ability to revitalize athletes was a major factor in this domination. Rafinha, Robert Lewandowski, Inigo Martinez, Pedri, Jules Koundé, Frenkie de Jong, and Wexty were among others he worked with. The outcomes were terrible. Despite being written off by many, Lewandowski scored 42 goals, 27 in La Liga, 11 in the Champions League, 3 in the Copa, and won the Super Cup. The most startling change, though, was when Rafinha, a player who was on the verge of leaving the team, found his peak under Flick. This is known by those who genuinely comprehend football. Last season, Rafinha was the world's top player. The most used player on Flick recorded 4,661 minutes while contributing 60 goals, 34 goals, and 26 assists. He scored in nearly every round until Barcelona's elimination against Inter Milan in the semifinals, finishing as the top scorer in the Champions League with 13 goals. Rafinha's goal against Inter Milan, Lamine Yamal, is another. Flick let a 17-year-old to play freely because he trusted him. As a result, the adolescent broke the game in front of football fans all around the world. Yamal had a key role in Barca being the team with the most goals from beyond the box, finishing with 18 goals and 25 assists. 23 out of 174, with Yamal scoring 7 of them. This team wasn't just focused on attacking. Barcelona maintained 21 clean sheets despite Flick's high defensive line and the risks it entails because to outstanding performances from Pau Kubari, Jules Koundé, Inigo Martinez, Alejandro Baldi, and magnificent nights from Jensen, who came out of retirement to become a hero once more. Everything you just heard was from the previous season. Are you curious about the most horrifying part? Despite Flick encountering twice as many difficulties as when he initially arrived, they are even better this season. Just keep going, FC Barcelona under Hansi Flick. Barca has won every game they have played since their 3-0 loss to Chelsea in London. They have now won 7 straight games across all competitions and 8 straight in La Liga, which is a first for them this season. And time is turning out to be a movie. Barcelona is traveling at maximum speed during this section. The La Liga table has entirely changed as a result of that run, with Barcelona now leading the league with 46 points out of a possible 54. All of this occurs immediately after Real Madrid's 5-point lead at the top was lost in Atletico. It is quite different from the previous season. Flick's Barcelona had 38 points after 18 league games last season and was obviously losing steam, having only won one of their preceding 6 games. According to statistics, this offensive machine was well-oiled. 414 shots on goal, 66.5% possession, 88.4% pass accuracy, 50.3% dribbling success, 19 goals from pass sequences of 10 or more, and 608 strong third-quarter recoveries. The ability to revitalize athletes was a major factor in this domination. Rafinha, Robert Lewandowski, Inigo Martinez, Pedri, Jules Koundé, Frenkie de Jong, and Wexty were among others he worked with. The outcomes were terrible. Despite being written off by many, Lewandowski scored 42 goals, 27 in La Liga, 11 in the Champions League, 3 in the Copa, and won the Super Cup. The most startling change, though, was when Rafinha, a player who was on the verge of leaving the team, found his peak under Flick. This is known by those who genuinely comprehend football. Last season, Rafinha was the world's top player. The most used player on Flick recorded 4,661 minutes while contributing 60 goals, 34 goals, and 26 assists. He scored in nearly every round until Barcelona's elimination against Inter Milan in the semifinals, finishing as the top scorer in the Champions League with 13 goals. Rafinha's goal against Inter Milan, Lamine Yamal, is another. Flick let a 17-year-old to play freely because he trusted him. As a result, the adolescent broke the game in front of football fans all around the world. Yamal had a key role in Barca being the team with the most goals from beyond the box, finishing with 18 goals and 25 assists. 23 out of 174, with Yamal scoring 7 of them. This team wasn't just focused on attacking. Barcelona maintained 21 clean sheets despite Flick's high defensive line and the risks it entails because to outstanding performances from Pau Kubari, Jules Koundé, Inigo Martinez, Alejandro Baldi, and magnificent nights from Jensen, who came out of retirement to become a hero once more. Everything you just heard was from the previous season. Are you curious about the most horrifying part? Despite Flick encountering twice as many difficulties as when he initially arrived, they are even better this season. Just keep going, FC Barcelona under Hansi Flick. Barca has won every game they have played since their 3-0 loss to Chelsea in London. They have now won 7 straight games across all competitions and 8 straight in La Liga, which is a first for them this season. And time is turning out to be a movie. Barcelona is traveling at maximum speed during this section. The La Liga table has entirely changed as a result of that run, with Barcelona now leading the league with 46 points out of a possible 54. All of this occurs immediately after Real Madrid's 5-point lead at the top was lost in Atletico. It is quite different from the previous season. Flick's Barcelona had 38 points after 18 league games last season and was obviously losing steam, having only won one of their preceding 6 games. Barca had already dropped 4 games at that point. They have only lost at Santiago Bernabeu and Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan this season. The goal figures are equally illuminating. Flick has increased Barcelona's attacking alternatives despite the explosive attacking trio from the previous season suffering with injuries and not playing together until late November. Bars have already scored one more goal this season than they did at the same time the previous year. Additionally, Barcelona is the only side in the top 5 leagues in Europe where at least 5 league goals have been scored by 4 different players. Ferran Torres with 11. Rafinha has 7, Lamine Yamal has 7, and Robert Lewandowski has 8. At this point in the previous season, Barcelona had scored 50 goals. They had already scored 51 goals this year, which helped them reach an incredible 102 goals in 2025. There have only been 9 instances in the club's history of scoring 100 goals in a single year, which hadn't happened in 7 years. Thanks in large part to Lionel Messi spearheading the assault, 7 of those occurred in the preceding 10 years. In actuality, Barcelona has only scored 100 goals in 2025 sans Messi. It only occurred once more in the 20th century, in 1999. 121 goals in 2012 remains the all-time record. Messi scored an incredible 91 goals in 39 games in all competitions in the same year. It's Messi. You simply need to contrast Barcelona with the rest of La Liga to fully comprehend their offensive domination in 2025. Real Madrid's 69 goals are well behind Barcelona's 102, Atletico Madrid and Villarreal are tied at 68, and Real Betis completes the top 5 with 65. There is one last historical detail. There is only one example in Barcelona's history for 2025. 1943 was the only other year in which Barcelona scored in every league game. They achieved it over 25 games back then. This Flick team has accomplished this in 37 games. This is now the key question. How does Hansi Flick continue to hone his Barcelona skills? First, we must be clear about the team's fundamentals, which are already producing outcomes. A defensive disposition through posture. Flick's audacious defensive concept, a very high defensive line, has completely changed FC Barcelona. Although it appears dangerous, it is now one of the secrets to Barcelona's success. In La Liga, no team produces more offside traps or plays higher up the field. Barcelona's defenders can press right away after losing the ball if they are positioned near or even on the midfield line. Opponents are forced to play lengthy passes or make snap decisions as a result, which leads to errors, fast recoveries, and constant high pressure. Flick's Barcelona is characterized by intense pushing high up the pitch, even beyond the high line. By moving as a single, compact block, the defense, midfield, and offense cut off short passing opportunities and compel opponents to go long. The goal of the press in midfield areas is to overwhelm the flanks with players while pushing opponents toward the wide channels, which reduces space inside. The asymmetric 42-31 Flick has a 42-31 installed as the basis system, but it has a great deal of flexibility and frequently becomes a 4-33. He already demonstrated this while he was a member of Bayern Munich. Pedri has greater leeway higher up the field since players like Eric Garcia and Frenkie de Jong play a role akin to Joshua Kimmich's at Bayern. Rafinha, meantime, has flourished in this adaptable 42-31, giving physical presence and attacking unpredictability in a role akin to Leon Goretzka's arrival in the box. Attacking asymmetry is a crucial component of Flick's approach. Barcelona attacks with numbers and establishes positional advantages by overloading the other team's half. Instead of being fixed, player movement is fluid. For instance, Lamine frequently drops into midfield to receive the ball and pose a threat from various zones. Additionally, the shape changes to fit the opponent. Dong or Garcia serves as the pivot, maintaining balance during build-up, while Pedri is the most experienced midfield player. Attacking while the build-up is astounding. Flick makes the most of Barcelona's talent while in possession by moving and being creative all the time. Barca became the only professional side in Spain to score 100 goals in 2025 thanks to this attacking structure. Wide alternatives are always available, and players occupy various heights within channels that are connected by diagonal passing lanes. It is crucial to be wide. To increase the space between opposing defenders, Yamal stretches the right side, and Alejandro Baldi, Rafinha, or Rashford do the same on the left. By placing Rafinha inside alongside Pedri, Fermin Lopez, and Eric Garcia, Flick also establishes numerical superiority in crucial places, particularly in the last third, continuously trying to surprise opponents. Verticality to startle adversaries. Barcelona now has a straight attacking advantage thanks to Flick. To get to the goal as fast as possible, vertical passes are employed. One of the most obvious distinctions from earlier Barcelona squads is this verticality, which is helping a lot of players. However, Flick's brilliance extends beyond strategy. It also involves organizing, supervising, and improving his players. And in the midst of Barcelona's troubles this year, he has done something very brilliant. Hansi Flick, who is constructing what is currently regarded as the most dangerous attack in Europe in 2025, is the primary architect behind this comeback. As we've already seen, Barcelona is no longer dependent on a single rescuer, in contrast to earlier eras. The club is now a multidirectional threat thanks to Flick's approach of heavy pressing, aggressive possession, and frequent dashes from midfield. The outcome is self-evident. In 59 of their 60 games, Barcelona scored. The fact that nearly every member of the team scored goals is among the year's most telling statistics. The only player who didn't score was Marc Bernal, who only made 10 appearances due to a chronic ailment. Everyone else stepped up, demonstrating that every area of the field is contributing to this Barcelona attack. Robert Lewandowski and Ferran Torres lead the scoring rankings with 27 goals apiece, closely followed by Rafinha with 24 and Lemon with 21. Finalizing his development from a prodigy to a powerful force. Additionally, Flick has unleashed the best form of Marcus Rashford, a player who is significantly more significant to Barcelona than many think in this new season of rebirth. When Plan A fails, Rashford's crosses, long balls into space, and persistent 1-versus-1 threats provide attacking balance and tactical variation. With 7 goals and 11 assists, he has now contributed 19 goals. Dani Olmo and Fermin Lopez's significant contributions just highlight how erratic this club has become. Teams like Valencia CF, who gave up 18 goals in 3 games, and Real Madrid, who were punished with 13 goals in 4 games, suffered greatly against Flick's Barcelona because of this attacking variety. Here's the important thing, though. Flick did more than just improve and intensify the assault. After winning La Liga in May, Flick established a specific goal for this season: enhanced defensive consistency and more match control. The first obstacle was Íñigo Martínez's departure. The second was a steady flow of injuries that interfered with the defense. Paradoxically, some of the most detrimental absences weren't defenders at all, but rather players who were essential to maintaining defensive equilibrium. Rafinha is the player who provokes the media, and Pedri is the one who gives the team command. Flick experimented with several approaches, particularly at center-back. Ronald Araujo and Pau Cubi were his first obvious choices. The most popular combination is still this one. That first alternative never quite worked, even though the Kubatsi-Gerard Martin pair is currently only 1 match behind. Kubatsi-Eric Garcia appeared to be the long-term solution for a moment, but Flick later went back to a preseason experiment. Gerard Martin as a center-back on the left side. Even earlier, Gerard had alluded to this, stating that Flick obviously kept that thought in mind even though he spent more time at fullback during training than as a center-back. The most surprising thing was that Eric Garcia was not pushed to the right. Rather, he took Frenkie de Jong's place in midfield. What appeared to be a short-term fix is now turning into a long-term one. Flick has special advantages because of this 2+1 triangle. While Eric Garcia offers a far more defensive-minded positional pivot than Frenkie, Gerard Martin, a left-footer, enables Kubari to play on his strongest side. Additionally, the numbers completely support the choice. Elite defensive attitude is what we mean when we discuss tackles and interventions per 90 minutes. With more than 6.6 tackles and interceptions per game and only 0.48 fouls per game, Gerard Martin tops La Liga. Amazing for such an aggressive athlete. Additionally, he leads Barcelona's aerial duels with an 84% victory over Araujo, 75%, and Kubars, 73%. Eric Garcia is another. He is now essential to Flick. Because of his versatility, he has participated in over 89% of the minutes played in all 25 official games this season. He has performed admirably in every position as a right defender, center-back, defensive midfielder, and even left-back. Garcia consistently advances play by more than 10 meters, making him the top fullback in ball progression. He participates in 0.83 xG on average each game. Has one of the most comprehensive profiles in the league, ranking 3rd in pass accuracy, 7th in recoveries, 5th in high recoveries, and 10th in defensive duels with an 81.7% success rate. He is equally outstanding as a defensive midfielder. 3rd in duel success, more than 5 per game, 6th in interceptions, almost 2 every 90 minutes, and 2nd in La Liga for ball advancement. He ranks 5th in XG build-up and 9th in critical passes from open play, only behind Pedri and slightly ahead of Frankie. Scoring against Barcelona is getting harder every week when you combine this defensive solidity with Joan Garcia, a superb goalkeeper who wins games by himself. The balance at the end is disastrous. With 46 victories in 60 games, the club's greatest record in 10 years, just 7 losses, the fewest since 2018, and 38 consecutive La Liga game goals, the second longest run in club history. All of this demonstrates that Flick has the intelligence to modify his strategies, such as this new 2+1 midfield triangle, and get the most out of his team by striking a balance between attack, defense, and midfield. We've never seen Barcelona play football like this. More powerful, more comprehensive. Like the video, subscribe to Kicks to Facts, and turn on notifications for real football facts you won't hear anywhere else.